To go out and get some attention.
Sorry, real quick, if anybody that hasn't signed in, that wants to sign in, the sign-up sheet's up here. We'll get started here in about 5 minutes. So if you haven't signed in and you would like to, the sign-up sheet's here. Thank you. I would like to call to order the Oregon City Council regular meeting for August 25th, 2025. The time is 7 p.m. Please stand and join for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With such a big audience tonight, which is very nice to have everybody here, if you would take a second and check your phone and please make sure it's on silent mode, if you could, or to not disrupt the meeting. Thank you. So also present, Ms. Snyder, if you would please take a roll call count of council members.
Mrs. Ackerman? Here. Mr. Drake?
Here.
Mr. Horniak?
Here.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Here.
Mr. Reeves?
Here.
Mr. Solander?
Here.
Mr. Wallensack?
Here.
Thank you. Also present at tonight's meeting is Mayor Michael Safarian, our City Administrator Joe Major, our Clerk of Council Josette Snyder, our Law Director Melissa Papora, Public Service Director Paul Roman, our Chief of Police Brandon Began, Assistant Police Chief Ryan Spangler, our Fire Chief Clayton O'Brien, our Assistant Fire Chief Mark Mullins, and Building and Zoning Commissioner Stephen Shrake. I don't believe I missed anybody. If I did, I apologize. We're going to go a little bit different tonight, but I'll get to that in just a second. And our first order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from August 11th of 2025.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move to accept the minutes from the August 11th, 2025 regular council meeting as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Pauloff. Does anyone have any objections? Meeting minutes are accepted as presented. Okay, before we get started tonight with our agenda and other things that we have, the public hearings and that, I have a statement that I want to read here. As president of council, I implemented a rule months ago to limit time citizens can speak on council floor, to allow all citizens with opportunity to be heard. Due to the number of individuals who have signed in to speak tonight, it is pertinent to enforce the set time limit. Therefore, all of the individuals and opportunities to be heard tonight, I will strictly adhere to the 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, you will be notified by Ms. Snyder, our clerk of council, that you have 1 minute remaining. I will remind everybody in the room, you will be asked to leave if you do not conduct yourself in a respectful manner. Individuals speaking beyond 5 minutes, if you exceed the 5 minutes of speaking and continue to speak, you will now be being disrupted to the meeting, and I'm going to advise you that you need to immediately stop speaking and return to your seat. If individuals decide that they're not going to stop speaking, we will have someone escort you to your seat or escort you out of the conference room. Individuals in audience, I'm going to provide one warning to the audience. I understand not everybody's going to agree on everything, but we can't shout out. That's one of our things that will not be tolerated, any disruptive behavior, and it needs to stop. Now, the other thing that I'm going to bring up here, please remember that this is an Oregon City Council meeting where we discuss business pertinent to the city of Oregon. Also, I will interrupt and stop individuals from making any disparaging comments or accusations towards individual of our citizens and/or our administration and council members. This includes everyone that's in attendance. With that being said, we are going to go with our public hearing. I know everybody that has signed in has signed in for the data center. When we get to that public hearing, you will have your opportunity to speak
Zoning.
for the zoning change. Okay? So, with that being said, the first item on the agenda will be excuse me here. We'll open the public hearing at 7:03. And it's for an application SUE 189, 2025 for a special use in a R2 medium-density residential zone district for the purpose of operating a hair salon on the property described as parcel number 44-18527. The applicant owner is Jennifer Cannon Pacina. The location is 506 South Wheeling.
Wallendorf.
Excuse me. Thank you guys for keeping me on task here. The location is 506 South Allendorf Road. Okay, is there anyone? Mr. Schrake?
Mr. President, on this case, this is a special use request. It is not a zoning change. The property will remain R2. The special use exemption is an allowance or exception that grants a specific use other than what is permitted within the current zoning. Again, it is not a zoning change. As this is not being requested as a zoning change, but is requested as a special use exemption, if passed by this body, you can approve or deny the request with the potential of adding any specific caveats or conditions related to that special use. It could be about hours of operation or expiration of the special use. The Planning Commission met during a public hearing on Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 at 5 p.m. to consider this special use exemption. After public comment, they voted and recommended to City Council to grant this application for the special use.
Thank you, Mr. Schrake. Now, is there anyone present to speak in favor of the renewal application? Is there anyone here present to speak in opposition of the renewal application? I will close the public hearing at 7:05. And I will assign item 139 of 2025 as ordinance 139 of 2025 and ask Ms. Schneider to please read it into the record.
Authorizing a special use permit for parcel 44-18527 for property located at 506 South Leylandorf Road, Oregon, Ohio, for the purpose of operating a hair salon on the property in an R2 medium-density residential zone district.
Thank you. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 139 of 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Ackerman? Yay. Mrs. Pauloff?
yes,
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 139 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Mr. President,
Mr. Drake.
just for the record, I'm not able to count everybody in here. I see the sign on the back. It says 150 people, I believe. I'm not a fire marshal, inspector, anything like that. It seems pretty crowded in here. I know the hallways, the doorways. I'm just worried about safety if something would happen. Heaven forbid it does. I just worry about a safety issue. I know I've brought it up to the administration. I believe everybody knew this would be a big meeting, and it was my recommendation to hold it possibly at a junior high or one of the high schools. So I don't know if that was looked into. By the looks of it, it wasn't. So I just wanted to throw that out. Safety is important to me, and I just want everybody to be safe and nothing happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Mr. Mullins.
Mr. President, I'm confident that our room capacity is okay. We have both these double doors open over here to the side as well as double doors in the back and a single to the front behind council. That's more than enough exits for this room, so I'm confident that we'll be okay.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Our first person that we're going to have come up and speak tonight is going to be Mr. Paul Drake, or Paul Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs, if you would, please, name and address for the record.
Paul J. Gibbs, 3145 Dogwood Drive, Oregon, Ohio. And I want to thank all you council people for allowing me to speak here tonight. And I would just like to say a brief prayer. It won't be too long, but I want to pray for our leaders, because the Bible commands us to pray for those that are in authority, that they would make wise decisions. So let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, I just come before you, thanking you and praising you for your goodness, your mercy, and your grace. Thank you for these council people and all of our leaders in our community that take the time out of their schedules every day to do the jobs that need to be done. Thank you for the good people that have come here tonight to discuss all these matters, and I pray for their concerns, that you would give them peace about whatever transpires tonight. And Father, if I might add a prayer from Reinhold Neubauer, that God, you would grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and wisdom to know the difference. And I just give you the thanks and the praise for all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Okay, we're going to open up the next public hearing. I would like to open the public hearing at 7:12 for application Z-821-25 for zoning change from A1 Agricultural District to Advanced Manufacturing District on the properties described as 4825 Corduroy Road, parcel number 44-09964, approximately 9.5 acres, more or less, 4919 Corduroy Road, parcel number 44-09970, approximately 1.515 acres, more or less, and 4811 Corduroy Road, parcel number 44-10111, approximately .5005 acres, more or less. This zoning change is being initiated by the City of Oregon on behalf of the owner, the Oregon Economic Development Foundation. With that, the administration.
I think we got to open up a couple, we want to open up all the public hearings. So.
Yep,
We can, Mr. President.
Yes.
And if we have you open up all the public hearings, we can do that and present a case for all of them. But when it comes to voting on the issues, they'll have to individually be voted on.
Okay.
So if you would.
So the next public hearing for application Z-823-25 for zoning change from A1 Agricultural District to Advanced Manufacturing District on the property described as 505 North Wind Road, parcel number 44-09969, approximately 2.189 acres, more or less. This zoning change is being initiated by the City of Oregon on behalf of Edward A. Parker. The next, the next application is Z-822-25 for zoning change from A1 Agricultural District to Advanced Manufacturing District on the property described as 445 North Wind Road, parcel number 44-09971, approximately 1.904 acres, more or less. The zoning change is being initiated by the City of Oregon on behalf of owner Valerie Bowler. And the next one is application Z 824-25 for zoning change from agricultural, A1 agricultural district to advanced manufacturing district on the property described as 535 North Wind Road, parcel number 44-09968, approximately 5.039 acres, more or less. The zoning changes being initiated by the City of Oregon on behalf of owners Norm and Peggy Nicholson. Our next public hearing, application 0825-25 for zoning change from A1 Agricultural District to Advanced Manufacturing District on the properties described as 4961 Corduroy Road, parcel number 44-09967, approximately 1.541 acres, more or less. This zoning change is being initiated by the City of Oregon on behalf of owners Robert and Carol Lannon. Administration.
Thank you, Mr. President. And we want to, as administrators here, we want to present this zoning change, which we all know is in regards to a proposed data center. We're going to try to make a presentation that may answer many of your questions, and we know what some of them questions are because we had a public hearing at the Planning Commission and other meetings where we heard people express concerns. So I want to start out by telling you I'm a lifelong resident of the City of Oregon. I went to Coy Elementary School, Fassett Middle School, graduated 50 years ago from Clay High School. I lived in 3 houses my entire life. 3415 Mary Ellen, 535 South Stadium, and 5110 Eagles Landing. All of them are in City of Oregon. I plan to live my entire life here. I plan to die here. I, as mayor, been here 16 years, 20 years prior to that as a council member. I do not work the job. I live it. I live every second of the day. I go to bed with it. I wake up with it. I take everything I do here very serious. We are here on this proposed zoning change, and some of the things we wish to try to address in our presentation is the visual of what a data center will look like, because it's a concern to a lot of people, especially those living close proximity to it. The noise that could be heard from a proposed data center, once again, which would be most interested by the people who live the closest to it. What is the possible financial gain to the City of Oregon? And the nuts and bolts of everything, that is precisely why we are so interested in this particular project. People have brought up that it could impact our water treatment plant. We are here to address that and assure you that is not the case. The lighting or the splash of the lighting that would be created by the data center and how it may impact those around it, we will address. And people have a lot of concerns knowing that their electric rates have gone up, how it may impact electric rates, and we will do our best to try to address that very complicated issue, but we will try to address that. I will go back approximately a year ago when the City of Oregon had chose to take our fire department, which was basically a paid-on-call department with a full-time staff of paramedics, and go to a fully staffed fire department. At that time, the cost of running our safety services, our Oregon Fire and Rescue, escalated quite a bit. As us as the administrators have a responsibility to show that we have the financial ability to incur that additional cost. At the time, we proposed a couple ways of doing that. One of them was to raise the payroll income tax from 2.25% to 2.5%. 0.25%. raising a tax 1/4%. If you have a household income of $100,000 a year, that would raise your entire tax for the year approximately, not approximately, exactly $250 or $5 a week. At that time, knowing that taxing people is very near and dear to people's hearts, it was deemed by the council and those people present that that might not be the best course. And being that we were entertaining the idea or the concept of expanding our revenues through our industrial park, I believe the first one that brought that up was Councilman Horniak, who said, oh, well, what about the gains we will see through additional revenue through our prospective ventures in our industrial park? So it was determined not to put it to the voters to decide if they wanted that tax increase, but to wait and see if we could be successful with the revenue stream increasing in our industrial park. We get 2.25% payroll income tax, which generates approximately $20 million a year. This data center, through the financial gain that the schools, well, let me back up a minute. We as administrators, Mr. Mazur, Ms. Purpura, and myself, met with the school board to let them know what the options were, that the state gives us the authority by having a mega project to have what's called a payment in lieu of taxes. There's a couple ways to do that. What we thought was the most fair was a 50-50 split between the schools and the city of Oregon. This 50-50 split, if everything goes well with this project, would generate approximately the same amount as the whole 2.25% payroll income tax, which means each of those households would have to come up with somewhere close to $4,000 a year to get the same financial gain for both us and the school system. So that's why it was such a big deal to us. And prior to that, we had possibilities in our industrial park for manufacturing plants. We, to this day, know nothing that exists in development of an industrial park or our industrial park that would have less impact on the city residents and the city itself than this data center that comes, anything that comes close to this type of revenue source. That's why it is so important to us. And everyone in the entire city will have a gain by city services that will be able to be improved or expanded due to this enormous revenue stream addition to the city. So that's why we and the council decided to wait to see how this would progress rather than raise an income tax, which was probably a smart move because we believe we're this close to making this happen. It will, some people will say it could negatively impact us. It could split the city, people against or for this data center. Well, I think I'm the only one left up here that went through the addition of Bay Park Hospital to the city of Oregon, which took place in 2001, where people were saying that impact of that hospital would not only split the city, it would destroy St. Charles Hospital, which was a lifetime institution to us. And the real impact was if we would have driven that hospital out of the city, next step was to go to Great Eastern Shopping Center, where the impact would have been virtually the same, another 800 feet down the road to St. Charles Hospital, but it's been approximately 24 years later, and both hospitals survived. This community did not split up. It kind of bonded around it, and we survived. We can survive this in even a more wonderful fashion if these revenues come out to be what we believe they can be, and really put our city on the map and being recognized. So with that, I would like to, Mr. President, if you would, go to Mr. Horniak, who I believe is prepared. Were you prepared to talk about the zoning change? All right, I thought, that was my understanding. Well, no, Steve was going to say something first, I believe, unless you'd rather go to Mr. Schrake.
Mr. Schrake.
All right.
Mr. Schrake, we'll go to you next, please. Mr. Horniak, we'll get you in line, sir. Mr.
Thank you.
Schrake, yes.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of City Council. I'd like to make a brief presentation about the zoning of these parcels. These legislations are only about a zoning change of 7 parcels or approximately 20 acres. The Planning Commission met during a public hearing on Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 at 5 p.m. to consider the zoning change applications for all 7 parcels. There are 5 applications because at the time of filing, there were 5 owners and 7 properties. After extensive public comment, the Planning Commission voted to recommend to City Council to grant these applications for a zoning change from A1 Agriculture to AM Advanced Manufacturing with no stipulations or conditions. These zoning changes would give the best and highest revenue with the least impact on the surrounding properties. Ms. Snyder, could you please move to the next slide? If these zoning changes pass tonight, we will be implementing a plan for these properties that was started over 60 years ago. As you can see in this image on the top, which was reproduced in the 2007 master plan, in 1965, the General Development Plan identified these properties as industrial and indicated the zoning to be changed from agriculture to industrial, as shown on the lower right. Next. In 2007, the master plan, these parcels were still identified in the future land use plan for industrial commercial use, shown in purple. Next. There are many uses permitted in the advanced manufacturing zoning district. This zoning classification was established in 2022, for which it is intended to promote clean and advanced manufacturing research and development opportunities, logistics, and other similar businesses with less impact. This was developed with more aesthetics and stricter requirements to provide a transition between heavy industrial uses and residential properties. Next. Within this district, there are strict requirements regarding architectural building materials, building entrances, facade wall variations, and other requirements in architectural building materials. Next. Based on the images of data centers provided by the proposed developer, these buildings would meet these requirements of the advanced manufacturing zoning district. Next. All developments must comply with the landscape and buffer standards, such as parking lots with tree islands. Next. Right-of-way landscape zones. Next. Screening between uses, production areas, service areas, and loading zones. And these are all excerpts from our building, or our zoning code. Next. There are also requirements for lighting with reduced levels and cutoff fixtures, fencing, signage, and noise. Next. All developments within the Advanced Manufacturing District require a site plan approval that meets all these requirements. Next. This zoning district also defines certain terms, such as advanced manufacturing, biotechnology facility, data center, research and development, and others. Next. Fixed noise is measured at the property line of a property affected by the noise emissions. Maximum noise limits for advanced manufacturing and light industrial would be 70 dB at any time of day. Next. Noise dissipates as you get further away at a rate of 6 dB decrease in sound pressure level for every doubling of distance. With the required setbacks of 100 feet from the center line of the roadway in each direction, at 192 feet, it will only be 34 dB, well below the threshold set for residential properties. So, next. As you can see, this is just completing what has been started 60 years ago and finally closing out the rectangle that finishes off the industrial park of Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schrake.
Mr. President, could I just stop briefly to say one thing? During Mr. Schrake's presentation, we were reading the decibel levels that changed in the room. They were ranging somewhere around from 46 to 68 decibels. So what you hear in this room is virtually what is allowed at the property line, just so to put things in perspective, because I think to most people, they hear that number that don't really know what it means, but just so that you know, it wasn't all that loud in here.
Thank you. Mr. Major.
Thank you, Mr. President. One point of clarification that I wanted to make before I turn it over to Mr. Horniak is that the property ownership did change. So on November 12th of 2024, last year, City Council approved of the purchase of 2 of the 7 parcels that are shown in this map. Also, on March 23rd of 2025, council approved the purchase of 1 of the houses on the corner. And then on April 28th of 2025, the 4 remaining houses were approved for purchase at that time. So as of Friday last week, August 22nd, the last house was actually purchased, and now all of the properties are in the hands, in the name of the OEDF. So just wanted to give everybody that update that all of the properties are now owned and in possession. So with that, I'd like to now turn it over to Mr. Horniak, Mr. President, if you would, before Mr. Roman and I talk about the electricity and the water concerns.
Mr. Horniak.
Thank you, Mr. President. As Mr. Mazur kind of alluded to, and I just wanted to kind of add some remarks to this, as I do chair the Economic Development Committee, but wanted to add to this because I've been part of these discussions for at least the 8 or 9 years that I've been up here. The hearings tonight, while we keep talking about the words data center, okay, and we get that, and there's a lot of passion, and there's a lot of concern, and a lot of questions to be had with those. And we are not deciding that tonight. There will be plenty of time. We've talked about town hall meetings, things where there can be a lot of exchange of information. I just want to put that out there. Those things will continue to be coming over the next several months. What we're talking about tonight is the rezoning of the residential properties along Wynn Road. So it's along the western side of Wynn Road, okay? It's not about permitting a data center. Years ago, we started the process of acquiring land in this industrial intended area. Going back to 1965, this was always slotted and scheduled to be an industrial commercial area. The homes that are on the west side of Wynn Road were the last pieces of that contiguous land that needed to be acquired. So over a couple of years ago, we started talking with the residents in those areas and securing what we call options, which means the option to purchase that property if development became evident or prominent to us within the city. Obviously, over the last couple of years, we've had some conversations that have led us to believe that that is not only very potentially coming, but very likely coming in an opportunity for the city of Oregon to really take part in something that will set up generational benefits for the city of Oregon. So in the consideration of that, the city of Oregon, to Mr. Mazur's point, acquired these properties. All properties are acquired. They are owned currently by the Oregon Economic Development Foundation, which is basically, if you will, the land bank used by the city of Oregon for business transactions to keep a separate entity that's organizing and working within that. So the foundation currently owns all of these properties. These properties were optioned and purchased with the sole intent of rezoning them to advanced manufacturing, which is the exact zoning in all of that contiguous land. So the opportunity tonight is to take that entire landmass, including the residences on the west side of Wynn Road, and basically formulate that into one piece of property that is entirely zoned advanced manufacturing. So we understand the questions, the concerns about data centers. We want to make sure we talk through that. We want to give plenty of times to do that. But we've been working on this for several years that I've been on council. To my recollection, we have always voted unanimously to move forward with this entire plan and process. And as Mr. Schrake presented, going back to 1965 and then again in 2007, this land parcel was always intended for industrial commercial use. Going back a couple of years to our previous administrator in Oregon, Mike Beasley, several of us worked together on this advanced manufacturing category in our zoning area. The reason being is it allowed us to better control the type of business that would go into there, okay? And we've had several that have approached us, and some that we just didn't like and we didn't want either. And we haven't really moved those forward or tried to present those. So in doing what we're trying to act on tonight in the hearings that we have, the concept is we're trying to change the residential property currently owned by the foundation into advanced manufacturing so that that entire parcel all contains the exact same zoning. Those parcels or properties were purchased with the sole intent on that becoming advanced manufacturing. Each of the residents had the opportunity to sell or not sell, and all chose to. And they're, depending on the timeline for development in this particular area, nobody's being run out of their house. Nobody's getting a sign in the yard tomorrow saying you got to move out next week. There is an exit clause, if you would, based on the timeline of when construction would start. We don't estimate that that's probably even going to happen until 2026. There are still pieces of this in what we call due diligence that the developers are waiting on to see, does this site meet all the criteria they need? What we're doing tonight, just as a reminder to make sure for all clarity, what we're doing tonight is taking the residential properties which have been purchased and have already been closed on and looking to rezone those into advanced manufacturing. Doesn't change any resident's ability to continue into that house for the timeline until development comes up. But I just want to remind everybody here, we've moved forward on this over the years virtually unanimously. And I would represent to all those here and all those, my fellow council members, my opinion would be irresponsible government to not move forward with the advanced manufacturing because the city is not in the business of owning residential properties. And if we are not doing this to develop and grow another revenue stream to the city, we aren't going to know what to do with residential properties. That's going to be a problem for the city because that's not our business. So changing this creates one contiguous land piece. It's all zoned the same. It allows us to take the next step into the opportunity. Assuming that all happens, there will be months and months to talk about data centers. The good, the bad, the questions, information, town halls. The folks that are looking to develop this had absolutely no issue with coming back to do town halls. We talked a few weeks ago about trying to put one together before the 11th, which we voted to extend the contract, the purchase agreement. There is a purchase agreement in place with the developer currently. We decided it would be better to go to, I'll say, a more informal opportunity for a question and answer. And the folks from the developers were lockstep with us. Absolutely, you tell us when, we'll try to make it work. Whether it's electronically, whether we're here, whether it's at a school, a community room, whatever that may be, so that people would get the opportunity to ask questions and move forward. But I just want to remind all of us and all of us in the room tonight, what we're doing is changing the residential properties to advanced manufacturing so that the entire parcel is now zoned the same way, and there's no impact to the people that would have been residents adjacent to what would be the development. This basically helps hold them harmless, allows them the opportunity to go to someplace else. So that's all I wanted to say, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Mr. Safarian.
Thank you, Mr. President. One thing I left out in the payment in lieu of taxes is a data center has to be, some of the buildings have to be built and be in operation before we can start seeing the revenue stream from those. However, the build-out dollars is enormous. And we would figure the labor involved in building this would be anywhere between $1 and $2.5 billion. You do that, the math at 2.25%, and once again, that is something with the mega project we have to split with our friends at the schools, and so we would be able to see some of the money fairly quickly as soon as the operation gets involved and the building starts to take place. So that's just another good deal with this whole process is the labor dollars are real, they're big, and it might not be as much as the schools need right away, but it's sure a significant help.
Thank you. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I've been asked to talk about water use. I know this is a zoning change, and but it's hard sometimes not talk about what's being proposed. So I think it's worth addressing as many concerns as we can, and even after I speak and Mr. Mazur speaks, certainly as more questions come up, we'll add to our comments. But water use has come up a lot in a lot of Facebook posts and so on. This developer is proposing a AI data center with a closed-loop cooling system. And a closed-loop cooling system is a zero-water evaporation system where it is constantly cycled through what they are trying to keep cool. What's interesting about closed-loop is it's not your traditional cooling system where you're cooling the air in a room that has a server. In this case, you're actually running cooling piping through the computer processors. And Microsoft has basically come out in 2024 and said, look, all of their data centers are going to be the closed-loop system, starting with their designs in 2024. Meta is also going to that for all their AI data centers. So it is something where it uses very little water. They said their use is 20 to 30,000 gallons per day, and that's after they top off after they fill their closed-loop system. Their use is 20 to 30,000 gallons per day. And I don't know, Gisette, you can show the article. I think I sent that out to council last Friday just to give more background to this. There's a lot of articles on closed-loop cooling. It is going to become the state of art for the data centers. And I know Microsoft's new data centers in 2026, they have a couple data centers they're mentioned in this article that will be using that system. But to put things in perspective with Oregon's water treatment plant, our plant has a capacity of 16 million gallons per day, okay? Our average water demand is 9 million gallons per day. And our peak demand, we've seen up to 13.8 MGD as our peak demand. So when any time our Economic Development Foundation has a potential prospective developer, they always come to me and they say, hey, how much water do we have available? Well, I have to use the peak demand and subtract that from our plant capacity and say, this is what's available. So I've always said we have 2 million gallons a day for any new development. At 30,000 gallons per day, that would be viewed as a very, very small industrial customer. When I say our average demand is 9 MGD, we have one customer that uses 4 MGD every day. Just think about the size of that. When it comes to our water rates, in 2023, we increased our water rates. It was to pay for, due to inflation and operating costs. There are schedule increases that go through '27. But when it comes to big water users, the reason we are still among the lowest water rates in Northwest Ohio is because of our big water users. That's why we have low rates. And, you know, I think this, I can easily say that this data center has no effect on our water plant or our rate structure. But I can tell you, I do like to see big users because that helps keep our bill down. So I can tell you, when I first heard their flow, I had doubts myself, and then when I started doing the research on the closed loop, I understood this is where it's going. This is why it's very little flow. So it's not going to have an effect on our water system. So, oh, let me add to that. You know, a lot of the comments you see on Facebook, they'll say, what about the water wells? What about, you know, the groundwater? Well, we have a potable system. Our raw water source is Lake Erie. They're going to use the potable water system. It's going to be the public water system. It's not going to have effect on wells. I understand that there may be data centers, old designs that may have been placed throughout the United States that are probably using a lot of water. That may be true, but that's not being proposed for this site. So anyways, anybody wants to come up and ask more questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but that's where I'm at for right now.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Mr. Major?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the electricity and how the rates are affected. There are 4 components to an electric bill that you don't really see on your bill, but this is how they're calculated. You have a distribution charge, and that's what the investor-owned utility charges you for the wires that are in front of your house and the meter. So to bring the delivery of electricity to your home, that's a distribution charge. There's the generation charge, that's the actual electricity being produced at a power plant and then being distributed to the other component, the transmission lines, and that is, you know, what we refer to as the grid. And then there's another component that's called capacity. Capacity is the assurance that there's availability of power to meet the peak demand. And so, Ms. Schneider, if you could pull up the map. We are in what's called the PJM territory. So this is the map of the Regional Transmission Organization, the RTO, the PJM territory. So it is in 13 different states and includes Washington, D.C. And if you see, it's kind of broken up into segments, what they call zones. We are in the ATSI zone. The ATSI zone is northern Ohio. That's serviced by First Energy. So that's the First Energy territory. So when a transmission project is constructed in the ATSI zone, that cost is spread out amongst all of that customer base that's in that zone. Now, it's a little more complicated with the generation component, but any new electric usage in that zone is actually spread out amongst, it's a little bit blended, but throughout the whole PJM territory, and it's also localized in the ATSI zone. So, but basically, electricity is a commodity. It's based on supply and demand. So when you have more usage or more users, there's more demand. The cost rises, so it fluctuates. When there's more supply or more electricity being produced than what's being used, then that cost goes down. So it's really it's a commodity. It's traded, And that's why it's different than water rates. You want more water customers because in a water system that's publicly owned, you have fixed asset costs that are spread out over a bigger pool of people. For electricity, because it's a commodity, it's based on supply and demand, what's available versus how much people are using. So, but the point of all of that I'd like to make is that if a data center is built anywhere in the ATSI zone, everybody's electric rates are going to stay the same. They're going to be affected whether it's built in Oregon or if it's built in the ATSI zone. Now, even if it's built in the PJM territory, there'll still be an effect on everybody's electric rates. So the point is that if our electric rates are going to be affected by the construction of data centers, why not get one here that adds to the economic value for the schools in the city? So that's all I had to say about the electricity. I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has them on that item, but also I wanted to talk about lighting. There were some concerns about lighting as one of the issues. And here's the thing. Any development is going to have lighting, whether it's a parking lot lighting or street lighting or anything like that. A data center is basically buildings with lighting around it. It's not like a manufacturing facility that operates in 3 shifts. If that were the case, there would be probably a little bit different of a lighting requirement for them. It's for safety, it's for maneuverability at night, and other reasons, security. So the lighting, I'm not going to recite the code to everybody here. I'd like to get on to the public hearing portion, but the lighting for a data center really isn't any different than any other development in Oregon, any other commercial development. In addition to that, one last item back to the electricity portion. We do have a second power plant that's planned right now. They're in the planning phase. They actually got approved to be in the expedited PJM called the Reliability Resource Initiative. That's where the PJM territory, that's for everybody's education, I guess. The PJM is the grid monitor. Basically, they're the what people call the air traffic controllers of the grid. So they make sure that electricity is dispatched to the locations that need it. They approved 51 projects in the PJM territory to be expedited for a review process. The second Oregon Clean Energy 2 plant was one of those projects that was approved. So in all of this territory, I believe there were 9 projects in Ohio and over 20 projects in Virginia that were approved. Those were the 2 highest states that got projects approved. But just note that that generation that's going to be added to the grid is actually helpful for stabilizing electric rates in our ATSI zone. So thank you, Mr. President. And again, I'll take any questions if anybody has them.
Thank you. Counsel,
Mr. President,
Mr. Drake.
just to back up a little bit, I have a question for Mr. Roman. Mr. Roman, you said they'll use 20 to 30,000 gallons. How long, what's the period before that water, because you said it keeps recirculating. Is it good for a week, a month? Breakdown.
Mr. President, Mr.
Yes.
Drake, it is constantly cycled. There are chemicals in it that cycles it, but it is not discharged. And it doesn't evaporate. It's a continuously cycled cooling system. And like I said, it's once they top it off in the very beginning of construction, it's constantly cycled. There may be a time when they take it down for, just like the plants have shutdowns and things like that, and they may fill it up at that time, but I don't know the exact answer as to how long they do it. It's just that it's continuously cycled.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
President?
Drake. With that, we are going to start with our citizens that have signed in. First up will be from the Oregon City Schools, Jerry Eversman. Jerry, if you would, please name and address It can be the school address if you'd like.
No,
Please make sure you pull the mic towards
right,
you.
I'm sure you're gonna hear me.
Thank you.
So, my name is Jerry Eversman. I live at 3131 Springtime Drive in Oregon, Ohio. I came here in 1965, and other than a short little bit of outside over to Walbridge, I've always lived in Oregon. I attended Coy Elementary, I went to Facet, and I'm a proud graduate of Clay High School. I'm an elected member to the Oregon Board of Education. We have some prepared remarks that I'd like to share with you, and I believe they were already shared with the council, but I want everyone in the audience to hear and hear from the schools for a change. I know this honorable council and the mayor and administration has been echoing the words school district, but I want to tell you that we are aware and we are participating in the role that we need to do, not getting out of our lane, but working in concert with the city. My remarks are this. I believe this project presents a unique and significant opportunity to secure long-term economic vitality of our city, and by extension, the continued strength and substantiability of our public schools. A development of this scale offers both immediate and lasting benefits, including construction-related investment and long-term tax revenue that can support essential services. For Oregon City Schools, the potential for increased funding would allow us to further invest in classroom instruction, technology, student programs, and educator retention. These improvements would directly benefit our students and families, while aligning with our commitment to fiscal responsibility and educational excellence. We understand and appreciate that there are a range of perspectives in the community regarding this zoning change. Thoughtful public discussion is a vital part of any major development decision, and we respect the voices of all who have engaged in this process. At the same time, we remain confident that the city's leadership, in collaboration with project stakeholders, will ensure a transparent and community-centered approach. We also recognize that the ongoing discussions around additional electric power sources are critical to the project's long-term success. We are encouraged to see these infrastructure needs being addressed proactively, as access to reliable and sufficient energy is essential, not only for the data center's operations, but also for ensuring the overall viability of future development in our community. Those are our prepared remarks, and what I would also like to say to all of the good citizens that are here tonight, that we're very concerned about the decrease of public funding of education that's going on through the state of Ohio and at the federal level. Folks, if you haven't been following the media, there's an assault on public education. Those are my words, echoed by people I work with. And right now, pending, the governor had vetoed in the last budget sections that were directly related to the ability of, for instance, school districts to collect property tax. The state legislature they've been in session, I think they might be out right now, but they have until the end of the year to come back and override the governor, and they have a supermajority.
1 minute left.
If that happens, how are we going to fund our school system if you can't have property tax, which I grew up with, which other people have? Then are we gonna go to an income tax like Perrysburg? Are we gonna go to raising a sales tax that goes to the county? And will the county divvy that up with Toledo, and then next biggest Washington Local, and then next biggest Sylvania Northview, and then we'll fight with towns like Anthony Wayne District and others that are our size and they're bigger than we are. So, folks, this is real. I have full confidence in this administration and this council to watch things and to hold everybody accountable, and the people who work for the administration.
I believe you're really representing us in our best interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eversman.
Jerry. Yeah, 3 seconds.
Just in case you didn't know, our school superintendent is here too. Mr. Fritz, would you please just stand up so you can be recognized? I know you didn't want to.
Play, and I had to summon him to come over away from supervising.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fritz. Next on our agenda, the speaker is Gary Thompson. Mr. Thompson, if you would, name and address for the record.
The name is Gary Thompson. My office address is 2 Maritime Plaza, Toledo, Ohio. My home address is 5808 Seaman Road here in Oregon, Ohio. So I first want to thank Oregon City Council, this current council and past councils and the administration for really taking the long view of economic development. It's called development for a reason and not hunting, because these things take time. So to go through the process to work with the Oregon Economic Development Foundation, to buy options on property and not just buy property, that's fiscally responsible. It's the smart thing to do. It's a good play to see what happens and what develops. In this case, I want to just reiterate some words of Mr. Horniak and Mr. Schrake. We're talking about rezoning a portion of a very industrial block. There's a refinery in the neighborhood, there's an asphalt plant in the neighborhood, there's a medical manufacturer in the neighborhood. The use to advanced manufacturing, which buffers that from heavy industry, seems again like the smart play for Oregon residents, given the benefits. And dare I say, because it's happened twice on projects that we've worked at the Regional Growth Partnership in recent memory. Bitwise was going to downtown Toledo, and Peloton was going to Troy Township until they weren't. There's a lot of due diligence to do on a data center project, and it may or may not come to fruition. But whether it does or does not, your vote in favor of this zoning change will not only prepare you to succeed should that data center move forward, but should it not, it will prepare you for future projects, and you'll be that much more ahead of the game and any other communities in the United States. Again, I've pointed this out before, but there's about 3,457 counties in America, all competing for economic development investment like this. You're blessed with natural resources, with a great workforce, with a proximity to an urban area, great access to water, power, sewer, all those things that a company needs. And I love that the administration is holding this developer's feet to the fire with a very prolonged and detailed development agreement that protects our citizens, as I am one of them. So thank you very much, and I encourage you all to vote in favor of this zoning change here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Jim Davis, Mr. Davis, if you would, name and address for the record. And if you could, make sure we speak into the mic.
My name is Jim Davis, and I live at 5494 Bayshore Road. I'm a registered professional engineer in the states of Ohio and South Carolina with over 47 years of experience. As a project manager, I'm knowledgeable about many of the details that such a large project entails. The mayor has relentlessly sold this project as good for Oregon. We see all around us his idea of what is good for Oregon. Endless development, heavy traffic on Navarre, cookie-cutter subdivisions with postage stamp lots, and industrial creep ever eastward. I had planned to give a long, boring speech about how this facility will use enough power to supply 400 to 600,000 homes. And according to published industry data, and I saw the slide that said the WUE, I used that figure, 730,000 gallons per day, enough water to supply over 5,000 homes, but I would probably put everybody to sleep. Hey, I'm an engineer. I get that a lot. By the way, if the second data center is built, these numbers would more than double. For those of you interested in that kind of thing, don't worry, we will putting all of that information out soon and on Facebook and elsewhere, and I'm sure the city will work very hard to dispute it. So instead, I will use my time to tell you a different story, one that you have probably all heard before about the frog in the pot of water. As the story goes, the humane way to cook a frog is to put it in a pot of cold water. In this case, it started 20 years ago when the site was identified as a prime candidate for industrial development. The city and the ODEF of Oregon lit the burner when they courted an industrial user to build a manufacturing plant, but that didn't work out. Unfortunately for nearby residents, they didn't tell anyone about their plans. Then the developer came along, of the data center came along, turning up the burner another notch. Well, the water was still okay, so the frog happily continued buying lots and building brand-new houses. Nobody at the city bothered to warn them about what their plans were. Then the city started the process of acquiring the land. The burner got turned up a little bit more. This meeting tonight is really about the next step, the decision to turn up the burner again. The water is getting even hotter. The only problem they have now is the frog is starting to feel the heat, and they are nervous that their plans are in jeopardy. So now that you are paying attention, they're putting out glossy pictures and calming press releases that this is really good for Oregon, money for the schools and financial security for the city, and warning of dire consequences if we don't just go along and let it happen. The frog is nearly at full boil. Cute story, right? But unfortunately, for the residents of Oregon, this is not a fairy tale. Communities all around the country, when faced with the same opportunities, are rejecting these sites due to water pressure and quality concerns, double-digit increases in their electric bills, and ugly fenced sites that look more like prisons than office buildings. Why should we, the citizens of Oregon, accept this deal and suffer higher natural gas and power rates and reduced property values in service of a multi-billion-dollar corporation that hands out crumbs to our city while making hundreds of millions of dollars each year in profits? And what assurances have been given that this project will succeed, given that in a rapidly changing world, that this facility might be obsolete in just a few years?
1 minute left.
Leaving us with broken promises and empty buildings. You all know the fates of Kmart, Big Lots, and Rite Aid. I have heard the mayor say that other communities would kill to get an opportunity like this. Yet other communities in Ohio and elsewhere would face with these decisions, and presumably opportunities as good or perhaps even better than what is being offered to Oregon, have rejected data centers as unsuitable for their community. A decision of this magnitude should not be made by a select group of elected officials and outside influence groups, but by we, the people of Oregon, who will be forever impacted by the consequences of this decision. If the city is so confident that this project is valuable and a correct path for Oregon, they should delay this vote and immediately schedule a public hearing with the developer present to explain both the positive and negatives so that people can fully understand the implications for Oregon.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you all for listening.
Next up, Laura Davis. Mrs. Davis,
Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor.
And just to comment on a couple things that were brought up is that we would be nervous, or I would be nervous. I am not nervous about any of this that we presented. I feel our story is so good that nerves, if anything, my blood pressure went down when I got in here today. And so to say that the people that build houses weren't informed that this was an industrial site going to be across the street from them, they were. I told them myself, several of them, and Mr. Gilmore told the others. So the people were informed.
Thank you. Mrs. Davis, if you would, name and address for the record, please.
Laura Davis, 5494 Bay Shore Road. Dire straits. This is a phrase that is being thrown around by the city regarding proposed data center. In my opinion, it is just a catchy phrase to manipulate the public into believing that the city needs money that will be generated from the data centers. The money is supposed to be split equally between the city and the schools. The Oregon schools do not appear to be in dire straits. Oregon schools are great. Some people move to Oregon because of the good schools. My grandkids go to Oregon schools. I went to Oregon schools. The athletic programs are active and thriving. Buses are running. The schools will be fine without ruining the city with a data center. The city is in dire straits. The city is claiming that they desperately need the money from the data center. In review of the City of Oregon financial records online, it appears that the city is not in dire straits or even slight dire straits. If in fact the city finances have declined, the expenses regarding the proposed data center, including the acquisition of the properties, is likely the cause. Dire straits will occur if the data centers are built. So now let's look forward 5 years after the data centers are up and running. In 5 years, the data center has used a large amount of power. Electric bills have skyrocketed. In 5 years, water pressure is decreased down to a single stream. Residents have to ration their water, and some even save rainwater. In 5 years, the constant hum that the neighbors had to endure has caused anxiety and depression. In 5 years, seniors on fixed incomes are in dire straits due to the increase in utilities and decrease of living conditions. In 5 years, property values have declined for those living near the data center and for other Oregon residents as well. In 5 years, instead of people moving into Oregon for the great schools, they have been moving out. The property values for these residents have decreased. Therefore, they are not able to get full value when they sell their homes. Some are just stuck with nowhere to go. In 5 years, not only has the population of Oregon decreased, others do not want to move into an industrial area with nothing to offer but the humming of the data centers. The higher electric rates, decrease in living conditions due to lack of water supply, is a strong disincentive for attracting new residents. The above prediction and scenario would cause the city to actually be in dire straits. In 5 years, the Oregon, Ohio we knew as the quiet, peaceful, safe place to live and raise families has been inundated with industrial smokestacks and large, ugly humming boxes. Looking ahead 5 years of living with the data centers, what could have been done to prevent this from happening? The time for prevention is now. I'm asking for consideration of the citizens, especially those who will be directly affected by the data centers. The homes will be demolished, some new ones. These people built these homes, chose countertops, flooring, paint colors. Now they have to move so that the city can collect a few dollars. The citizens have a right to be heard, and we can fight this. There is a group formed called United Neighbors of Oregon Coalition, UNO. United Neighbors as one. Together we can get this done. There is a GoFundMe out there to cover legal expenses. In closing, just as the city has a choice to vote for the well-being of the residents or the greed of the revenue from the data centers, we the people have a choice of our vote in November.
Davis?
Mr. President,
Mr. Mayor.
just in response to dire straits, it said it was directed by the city. It was not. It was directed solely by me. So I'll take all the blame for the dire straits. But in essence, if we sit here and do nothing, we could fall into dire straits. We certainly are not. But we're a resilient community. Regardless to what happens, we'll survive. But we won't survive as well as we would if we achieve this data center.
Thank you, Mayor. Up next, Nate Race. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Nate Race. I live at 818 Athens Road, Oregon, Ohio. I'm a journeyman electrician and a proud member of IBEW Local 8. I've built my life with my family here in Oregon, and I believe in a future that supports working families and strengthens our community. Mayor Safarian's vision for smart, sustainable development means high-quality, good-paying jobs for local workers and long-term benefits for our city. These projects don't just create careers, they grow our tax base, fund schools, roads, and essential services, and support local businesses during construction and beyond. I saw firsthand how tax revenue from a power plant improved Oak Harbor schools. Oregon deserves the same opportunity without raising costs on families like mine. I'm sick and tired of this place being called the Rust Belt. My union builds, we're the best at it, and we want Oregon to put us to work. We have a choice. We could stand still or move forward with growth and investment. I support the path that powers our community and supports families, and I hope you will too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Race. Up next, Amy Mottmiller. Ms. Mottmiller, if you would, please name and address for the record.
Amy Mottmiller, 5040 Corduroy Road. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and fellow citizens of Oregon. We are here tonight because we believe it's essential for our voices to be heard. I've come before this council multiple times with a fundamental question. Is this rezoning for advanced manufacturing at Wynn and Corduroy paving the way for a data center something for the community or something to be done to the community? As you've heard tonight, there are very real costs. And I appreciate everything that you guys had to say because that's what we've been asking for weeks. The council talked about that they owned city land purchased with millions of taxpayer dollars already zoned industrial. I understand that. But sometimes progress requires us to reconsider, not simply rely on decisions made in 2007, but look at the community we are today. Rezoning this land for a single data center is not the end. The mayor already has hinted, as reported in the Toledo Blade, that the data center, too, is on the horizon. That is how sprawl begins, one exception after another, until farmland, wetlands, and neighborhoods give way to industrial complexes, piece by piece. I have a list of resources that I'm going to skip reading, but I have them if anybody wants to read all of the resources that I have for different things about a data center. But I'm going to go on with, I would like to question a few laws and policies. Ohio Revised Code 713.12 requires public hearing within 30-day notice. No such hearing has taken place, as the town hall that was requested has not been conducted prior to today's vote. But that has been ignored. Let's be clear. Council meetings do not count as public hearings. A hearing allows all citizens to ask questions and receive answers, not just offer brief comments and then being told that they're wrong and not offered a bit of compassion. I understand that this night is supposed to be about rezoning, not the end result, which is the construction of a data center. Therefore, I'll focus on that. I do find it more troubling that the city seems to be conducting this rezoning process unlawfully. There is also the matter of contracting before rezoning, which is prohibited under Ohio Revised Code 721.03. Yet, when asked who the end user of this land is, the mayor and other council members have cited it's under contract that they can disclose. That's a violation of state law. Finally, the rezoning vote itself was taken with Mr. Olive participating remotely, yet the city did not adopt that provision for virtual voting until 36 days after that vote. That too is a violation of our code. If this vote is allowed to proceed without proper public hearing, I want to make it clear that I'm part of a group of citizens prepared to file for an immediate appeal. We should be able to trust our elected officials to make decisions that are in the best interest of all the people in Oregon, those living near this proposed site and those on the outskirts. This decision impacts all of us, from the families who live closest to this land to those who rely on clean air, clean water, and healthy environments for their children and grandchildren. I want to emphasize, this is not against economic development or unions. My father-in-law started the union for the city of Oregon in 1958, Joe Mottmiller. He was one of the 3 people that started that union. Union has been something that's important to all our family. It's not about loss of jobs for union. It's about the quality of living for the people that live by there. For instance, my father-in-law had lots of his family had lots of farm development in this area, and it's about the livability for those who are living there. We simply ask that this be done responsibly, financially, and ethically, with the interest of the citizens in mind. We should not have to be threatened with narratives like we're in slight dire straits or heavy metal industry plant would be worse than a data center. Those statements are not leadership, they are threats to the very citizens who elected you. I urge you to pause on this vote. Hold a town hall, listen to the people, give them a chance to ask questions, and then not just think about money. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montmiller. Up next,
Wait a minute.
Jerry Vasco.
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
if I may. Ms. Mottmiller, you cited a list of resources that you have available. If you present that to Ms. Snyder, she'll make sure that it's included into the meeting record, so that can be part of the minutes for anybody that would want to view it.
Mr. President,
Mr. Mayor.
just like to address a couple things that were there. Public hearing that we're required to have had notice, and we had to conduct that public hearing within 30 to 45 days. We're a charter city, and we lived up to our charter. So we did comply. And as for Mr. Olive voting, which he did do, but we end up taking the vote of 3-0, which it still passed and did not count his vote. We, at the very next meeting, did adopt a policy that would allow virtual voting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President,
Mr. Drake.
I got a question for the law director, Melissa. Would that be same with council people? Would they be able to vote via the Cleveland Clinic?
Mr. President, Mr. Drake, we would not, the elected officials, city council would not be able to do remote voting.
Okay, just out of curiosity, how could the zoning do it? Because they're volunteers?
The
You're saying-
law that was passed states that boards and commission, upon adoption of a policy, has the ability to do virtual votes. So the state made that provision for boards and commissions. They specifically prohibited elected officials such as council people.
Okay, it's my understanding, I haven't read it, but I have heard from numerous people that Toledo can vote from home or a hospital bed or whatever it may be.
I can't speak for what Toledo does. I can only speak for what the law does and how it applies to the city of Oregon.
Okay, that's fine. And, Mr. President,
Mr. Drake.
I know you got a tough job, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's absolutely beyond rude when people are up there speaking and there's sidebars up here. It's disrespectful and rude. So if you can control that, please.
Thank you.
I would appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of the people in this
Thank you.
gallery would respect.
Up next.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next,
Rude.
Jerry Vasco. Mr. Vasco, please name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name's Jerry Vasco. I'm at 1825 Sugarbush here in Oregon. I've been a resident of Oregon for over 25 years, and prior to that, I was Oregon adjacent, so I am intimately familiar with our town and the inner workings of the area. I'm also a retired member of IBEW Local Number 8, where my area of expertise was computer networking. I studied computer networking at Owens Community College and furthered my education at the University of Toledo. I also held an RCDD license to design, specify, and install computer networks. In my 50-plus years in the industry, I have worked on computer networks from small doctors' offices to the largest corporate networks, including several data centers. My credentials should speak to the fact that I am qualified to give an above-average assessment of the subject matter at hand. I monitor several social media pages regarding the Oregon community, and I am at once amused and perplexed at the amount of keyboard warriors and data center experts that came out of the woodwork when the announcement was made proposing the data center. I am here to offer an industry expert's insight into the misnomers and the misinformation circulating around the building of a data center. Firstly, the issue of excessive noise from the site might be an issue for the scant few homes in the immediate area if it were not for the zoning commission putting a 70 decibel upper noise limit at the property line that is enforceable. While there may be some short-lived temporary disruptions during the construction phase of the data center, a well-designed data center contains rows and rows of network switches, routers, and interconnecting equipment That makes about as much noise as your home network's router. Secondly, it was brought to my attention that the data center would not bring in very much tax revenue. The hundreds of tradesmen that it takes to build such a facility would like to beg to differ with you. There is an agreement in place to disperse 50% of the tax revenue to the Oregon School District and the other 50% to city services. This is something that benefits all Oregonians, regardless of whether you have children enrolled in Oregon schools or not. A well-put-together data center does not require an inordinate number of staff to monitor equipment that is designed to function autonomously. This fact is further reinforced by my union sisters and brothers' unique ability to carry this work out in a timely, professional, and workmanlike manner. While I am sympathetic towards the few residents that are being inconvenienced to facilitate this data center, it is my understanding that they have been more than adequately compensated for the value of their homes, properties, and moving expenses. To the remaining residents in that immediate area, I have been shown no supporting data that would lead one to believe your property values will plummet because of this addition to our community. Everyone likes to embrace new technology, and in general, everyone should enjoy prosperity and growth in the area. In my over half a century in this trade, I had never had a customer come to me and ask me to make their network go slower. Technology is the reason that you enjoy one-click shopping or immediate answers to almost any inquiry that you may have. This is technology that was not available even a few short years ago. With the budding advent of artificial intelligence, the need for facilities like this is even greater. The not in my backyard mentality is both defeatist and unfounded. If not there, where? Oregon is uniquely situated to provide all of the utilities required to operate a facility like this. We have to consider what there is to gain in the way of tax revenue instead of dwelling on this progress as an arbiter of negative change. As a matter of fact, it is an excellent time to rekindle the conversation surrounding the construction of Oregon Clean Energy Number 2. We need to stay ahead of the increasing demand for forward progress, lest we end up in a state of utility shambles like the state of Texas. I thank you for your time and the opportunity to convey my viewpoint. And if you are opposed to this facility, I hope I have given you some food for thought and perhaps change your minds. Data centers are not your enemy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vasco. Up next, Craig Elbers. Mr. Elbers, name and address, or you could use your business address.
All right, well, my name is Craig Albers. Our business is 4350 Navarre Avenue. That's Oregon Economic Development Foundation address. I am the president. I'm here tonight representing our executive board, as well as multiple of our board of trustees that are here this evening as well. I want to thank you for allowing me to speak to you this evening. As the president of the Oregon Economic Development Foundation and a representative of the owner of the property, that will be discussed tonight for rezoning to advanced manufacturing, I am here requesting and supporting the vote to change the status of this property. Oregon Economic Development Foundation has partnered with the city for almost 6 decades, it sounds like, but it's 2 decades that we've been in existence and working with the city, spending millions of dollars of investment to assemble the properties to attract businesses to the community. Almost unanimous votes in the past have allowed us to assemble these properties on November 12th of 2024, March 23rd of 2025, April 28th of 2025, and as of last Friday, we purchased the last property in this parcel. Your vote tonight will show the business community across the state of Ohio, Lucas County, and the nation that Oregon is a city that businesses can work with to help advance project, create jobs, invest in the communities through a true public-private partnership. Whatever project eventually materializes on this property, the city of Oregon has sent a message that they are a great partner to work with. Some of you may feel that you have not been listened to the citizens, but you have listened to your community. I've taken part in the master planning committee, and we've had over 1,000 residents respond publicly to what they want to see in a master plan. They responded by saying the community does not want to see more smokestacks. They want a more pleasing look. They want businesses that are environmentally responsible. By rezoning this property to advanced manufacturing, the City Council has listened to the citizens and the feedback that the citizens of Oregon had given during the master planning process. The zoning to advanced manufacturing will allow for all of this to be able to occur. I have witnessed the council meetings, and the city does have the ability to partner with any business that purchase property to meet those expectations. And we've heard that tonight from the zoning committee of how that would be able to happen. I would like to end by thanking each of you for your service to the community. As a fellow servant leader, I know you always want to do your very best with every decision you make. Your vote tonight, you have the opportunity to make a decision that will allow the city of Oregon to grow and prosper for many generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albers. Up next is Jared Donnelly. Mr. Donnelly, if you would, name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name's Jared Donnelly. I grew up on 5318 Star Avenue, Oregon, Ohio. That's where I live right now. And I graduated from Clay High School in 1999. Since then, I've been a 25-year member of Local 18 Operating Engineers, and I am in favor of this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donnelly. Up next, Casey Donnelly. Casey, Mr. Donnelly, if you would, name and address for the record. Sorry, she had to use the, yeah, so
You're fine.
we'll add a minute to it.
It'll be short
Okay.
and sweet.
Thank you.
My name's Casey Donnelly, 6434 Seaman Road. I'm a member of the Operating Engineers, Local 18. I just wanted to say I support this rezoning and the future work this could cause. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Donnelly. Up next, Steve Carr. Mr. Carr, if you would, name and address for the record.
Hi, Steve Carr, 3124 Flame Drive. Thank you, council. Just want to say I approve this, the rezone. I'm a Boilermaker of 85, union member. Think it'd be great for the community. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Up next, Brandon Loach. Mr. Loach, if you would, your name and address for the record. Thank you.
My name is Brandon Loach, 253 Eastwood, Oregon, Ohio. I'm with Operating Engineers, Local 18. I too support the rezoning. That's about all I got.
Thank you. Up next, Eric Buckles. Mr. Buckles? Going once? Oh, there he is. I'm sorry. Name and address for the record, please.
Eric Buckles, 3700 Pickle Road. I've been a resident of Oregon for almost 20 years, a couple of different places, and I'm also supporting the rezoning. Local 18 Operating Engineers.
Thank you, Mr. Buckles. Sandra Buckles? You're good, okay. Well, thank you for writing your name down. Next is Greg Steinhurst. Mr. Steinhurst, if you would, name and address for the record.
Greg Steinhurst, 2650 Laverne. Spent quite a bit of my childhood in Oregon. didn't graduate from Clay, but stayed in the area. Joined the military. When I got out, I chose to live here in Oregon by choice. I don't know if I said it, I'm a member of Boilermakers Local 85. About a month ago, I wasn't sure I wanted this thing. I did my civic duty, got off Facebook and did real research, and I fully support this.
Thank you, Mr. Steinhurst. Up next, Jared Eversole? Eversoles? Sorry about the guff that you're gonna
Oh, you're
take
good,
now
you're good.
for work.
You're good. My name is Jared Eversole, 3713 Lily Drive, Oregon, Ohio. Member of IBEW Local 8. I've been living in Oregon close to 20 years now. And if you want to continue having nice things, nice services, nice schools, somebody has to pay for it. So I'm for rezoning the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eversole. Todd Blair? Mr. Blair, if you would, name and address for the record.
Todd Blair, 556 Lackawanna, 15-year resident, 25-year member of IBEW, and I support this.
Thank you, Mr. Blair. Up next, Thomas LaPlante. Mr. LaPlante, if you would, you're good? Mr. Bob Lynn. Mr. Lynn, if you would, name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Bob Lynn. I live at 7150 Seaman Road. I've been a resident here in Oregon for a little over 30 years. We've raised our family here, built a real nice piece of property right across from Flight's Pumpkin Farm. One of the things I will say is that it's important that we have a plan, which we do. I'm glad to see that we have this master plan to be able to do it. It's important that we continue to stick to a plan. In order for a city to be able to continue to survive, it has to be able to bring in industry, it has to be able to bring in other businesses, et cetera, to be able to support it. It's not just about having a bedroom community where it's just houses. We're gonna have to be able to make this happen so that the schools are able to continue to be able to provide the education that our young adults and children need to be able to make Oregon successful. It's very important, in my opinion, that the city council here approves the zoning. After they get done with that, I continue to encourage you to follow through, to make sure you do the due diligence, to make sure that the data center or whatever comes into there meets the criteria that's necessary. It's very encouraging to hear a closed-loop system. I'm a member of Local 50 Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. That's one of the things we deal with, closed-loop systems. They are designed not to leak. They are designed to be able to actually function and be able to do that. So I'm very encouraged by that, because that will cap the amount of water that's used there. The addition of the Oregon Clean Energy 2 plant would definitely help with the electrical needs, not only in this community, but throughout the nation. So I encourage you to make this zoning change happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn. Up next, Dan Alonso. Dan, if you would, please name and address for the record.
Hello, I'm Dan Alonso. I'm at 237 Ponderosa Drive. I've only been here 30 years. Didn't plan a speech or nothing, just wanted to say I'm for it. I'm also a local 8 journeyman electrician.
Thank you. Up next, Chris Sharp. Mr. Sharp, if you would.
All right, Chris Sharp, 5966 Seaman Road. We moved here about 3 years ago, out to God's country out here in Oregon. We really appreciate all this, giving us all the information that we need to go forward with our decision on this. My wife and I put a lot of thought into this. We don't sit on Facebook and gather information. We actually look into these facts, okay? I have a couple little facts for you. By the way, I'm a 30-year member of IBEW Local 8, proud member. So I'm thinking about the investment, $1 billion initial investment, 3-year project with plans to expand. This place is promising to promote their own power generation, which is about an 828 megawatt system by 2028. In comparison to that, we got Davis-Besse, which is at about 908 megawatts, and they produce power for 750,000 homes. I know there was a study done with Davis-Besse that they were talking about in the near future. They were going to be able to provide more power for this area to help us offset if there is any loss with that. So First Energy, you know, we can look into that a little bit. Maybe you guys might know a little bit more about that than I do. I know that with this power generation, they're thinking about using a combined cycle gas turbine, which uses waste heat to power the turbines. So it's no consumption there for that. You know, closed loop system, we got a pipe fitter telling you, okay? I looked this up. Closed loop systems they get about 5% loss per year. They use glycol in there. It helps out keep inhibitors, rust inhibitors, things like that. So it keeps the maintenance down. So I'm all for this rezoning. Like I say, we could have another stack back there pumping out dirty, fumes. I think about the water consumption out here, and I hear a lot of people that are concerned about water consumption. We should be, all right? We should be. I do know that BP uses about, 1.5 gallons of water. 1.5 gallons per gallon of oil produced, okay? They do about 240,000 barrels of oil a day, which that's 10,000 gallons of water. They use about half of that. So half of it's recycled, half of it's consumed. So nobody bats an eye on 5 million gallons of water being used, but we're worried about a 30,000 gallon loop cycle that loses 5% of that a year. So I don't know. I think the math is mathin', okay? And I think this is a really good idea. And just for the record, my family doesn't collect water puddles in mason jars to drink out of. We have running water at our house. It's pretty strong, powerful water, okay? So thanks for your guys' time. Thanks for all your efforts. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp. Up next, Fran Wilbur. Mrs. Wilbur, name and address for the record, please.
Fran
If
Wilbur.
if you need to pull that down, please feel, there you go. Yeah, thank
Fran
you.
Wilbur, 3226 Northeast Moreland Drive, Oregon, Ohio. First of all, hats off to whoever invited all of you union guys. Hats off. Smart play, guys. That was a real smart, fair play. I'm going to ask Joe, did you guys do the noise evaluation yet?
Mr. President, do you want me to answer questions now or wait till the end?
You can
Since we've
answer-
limited everybody to 5 minutes.
That's, you can answer now.
The noise, the city did not do a noise study. There was a noise study done by the Oregon Clean Energy 2 group that's planning that project. We
Okay.
don't have any results of it.
You have-
We have no records of it, so.
No water, no electric, you have none of those numbers where you've tested stuff. So we know what's coming in, going into our water. How much our electric's gonna go up? I don't know about you guys, but mine doubled. That is crazy. And to see that it's gonna keep going, we're killing the seniors is what we're doing. I've been coming to these meetings since December. And I can honestly say, if you guys would have been transparent with this, if we'd have seen pictures, had facts, I don't think you'd have this room full. But this council, not everybody, but some on council, like to keep things hidden. People don't like that. We want to see it. I've never seen a data center. There's never been a picture of one, guys. We have no idea. Most of us have no idea. And I do think this should have been held like in another place, so we're not on such a time constraint. But I will go on. When there is constant humming of between 70 and 85, and that is a fact in the books, I didn't go on Facebook, I researched too. The humming causes a lot of problems for people. It can cause, the noise pollution can cause hearing, stress, annoyance. Most of us don't want continuous unwanted sound. It's a major source of stress, can lead to irritability, high blood pressure, heart disease, COPD, because we know there's going to be air pollution, even though no one's tested it yet. I have been on my computer getting facts too. Cognitive effects from constant noise can impair concentration, memory, and productivity. And it's because it's constant. It's because it doesn't stop. You guys have a wind school, and you have a school at Corduroy and Stadium that is for disabled adults, so their parents can go to work. Have you all did a study to see if it's going to affect them? No. You haven't did one? Check on our kids. I mean, we're talking our children. We're talking our disabled. We're talking our seniors even. And it's like we're not being heard. No one cares about us. So what? Go get cancer. So what? Have a heart attack. We want this. The first thing I read when I read on a data center, money. So it's all about. You either get money or quality of life. You don't get both. You get one or the other.
1 minute left.
And the thought that we're already talking about building another data center, can we at least get one built and see how it does in our community? Why are we planning on two? What if the one don't work? Now we've got two of them that don't work. You guys are too smart. Now come on, citizens have a right to voice our opinion. And I don't think we've been heard. Last week's meeting shouldn't have been canceled because it could have been just this. Not council, any of that, but we could have all come in here and we could have had the town hall with just everybody relaxed and talking. But you took that right away because you canceled the meeting. We were allowed 3 meetings. We had one, you canceled the second, and this is the third.
Thank you, Ms. Wilbur.
Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor.
Just for the record, we did notify the applicants about our decibel level code of 70 decibels at the property line, and they figured to go forward with the project knowing they could achieve that and knowing that we could enforce it. During the time Mrs. Wilbur was up here, the decibel levels range from 56 to 68 decibels in this room. So maybe old data centers or something were louder, but we have a very manageable decibel level that I think people could live with and not be annoyed by. And also, in the process of this data center or this zoning change happen, we've had 12 public meetings where it's been brought up in 11 months. Transparency was always our issue to project. We're never secretive about any of the aspects of any part of this. And I know I talk a lot. I've been accused of being somewhere between garrulous and loquacious, which is talkative or annoyingly talkative. My wife would say I probably lean towards the annoyingly talkative. So I'll rest with that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next to speak is George Barney. George, Mr. Barney, if you would name and address for the record.
George Barney, 3530 Corduroy Road in Oregon. That's halfway between Coy and Oldham tracks. I came here with a few concerns and a few questions. You guys did such a great job of putting this together. I don't have any questions or concerns because they've all been answered. I'm 100% for your data center. If I wasn't, I'd move out to Amish country or somewhere else. I mean, that's part of the way it is. So go data center. Thank you for doing a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Barney. And last on the, to speak tonight is Lori Bonson. Ms. Bonson, if you would, name and address for the record.
My name is Lori Bonson. I live at 407 South Stadium Road. Lived here a lot of years, raised our children here. I'm like Mr. Barney. You've done a great job with this. My questions have been answered, and I appreciate Mr. Thompson and all the wonderful input. I've learned a lot. I am a Facebook user, and I do want to commend Kathy Paula. I do get into it with Facebook, and I've researched the data center, and I'm just grateful to all of you for caring about Oregon, the transparency you give with all these meetings. Everybody's got the opportunity to speak, whether it's 10, 15, 20, the progress and growth, and we need it. And I bring so many family and friends to tour Oregon. They are so impressed. But Kathy, thank you for all the information you put there, and that's my go-to, and I'm all for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bonson. Council, any questions or comments, or Ms. Ackerman?
Mr. President, number one, define data center for all of us, because I know there's a lot of confusion about, we're talking about gallons and we're talking about usage and decibels. I looked it up, and by definition, data center means 1 building, 8 buildings, 12 buildings. I guess let's start it can we just get that very, very basic definition out so we're all on the same page about when we're talking about a data center, are we talking 1 building, 2 buildings, 3 buildings, 4, 5? I mean, I just see a lot of confusion on the internet about what, and I'm asking Mr. Major, please, thank you.
Mr. Safarian is going to answer first. Mr. Safarian?
The proposal and the hope that they can work the property if this zoning change happens and we have the complete parcels, that there would be 8 200,000 square foot buildings. So they can be arranged in such a manner so that they're aesthetically pleasing. The road appeal of the buildings, I've seen people post some rather unattractive data centers on Facebook, but those are the backsides. But these roadside views of the data centers are much what we seen earlier in the presentation. And so if they're able to arrange 8 200,000 square foot buildings, that's what would be the ultimate for this particular project.
Mr. Mayor, are we talking just strictly on the west side, correct? I just want to clarify that. Okay, nothing on the east side.
People use the term data center number 1 or data center number 2. There is no proposed data center number 2. There was inquiries made. There might be some interest. There's a lot of interest in a lot of property in the city of Oregon for different possible projects, but we are talking about 1 data center, and that would be west of Wynn Road.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Council, anybody else?
Mr. President, is this our only opportunity before the vote?
Well, we're not going to vote yet.
Okay, that's why I'm just asking.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Mr. Major, did you have anything to add, or that's it?
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, so Just, I have to check what we have, the protocol. And then we just vote on everything. Okay. At this time, I'm going to close the public hearing at 8:54. Council, once again, any questions or comments or concerns? Hearing none, we're going to, let me see, number one, yeah. We're going, just, got so much paperwork, excuse me. Since the public hearing closed at 8:54, I will assign item 140 of 2025 as ordinance 140 of 2025, and ask Ms. Rawson to please read it into the record.
Authorizing a change in the district map for property located at 4825 Corduroy Road, 4919 Corduroy Road, and 4811 Corduroy Road, parcel number 44099644, 440990, and 4410111, from an A1 agricultural district to an advanced manufacturing district.
Thank you. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 140 of 2025.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Second by Mr. Drake. Thank you, Mr. Drake. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Mr. Wallenczak?
On the recommendation of the law director, I must abstain.
Thank you. Thank you. Ordinance 140 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas and 1 abstention. Our next, the public hearing was closed at 8:54. I will assign item 141 of 2025 as ordinance 141 of 2025, and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing change in the district map for property located at 445 North Wind Road, parcel number 440991, from an A1 agricultural district to an advanced manufacturing district.
Thank you. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 141 of 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Thank you, Mr. Drake. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Mr. Wallenczak?
Abstain.
Thank you. Ordinance 141 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas and 1 abstention. With the closing of the public hearing at 8:54, I will assign item 142 of 2025 as ordinance 142 of 2025, and ask Ms. Snyder, apologize
That's
for
okay.
that, Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing a change in the district map for property located at 505 North Wind Road, parcel number 44099969, from an A1 agricultural district to an advanced manufacturing district.
Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 142 of 2025.
Thank you,
Second.
Mr. Horniak. Second by Mr. Drake. Mr. Drake, was that you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Mr. Wallenczak?
Abstain.
Thank you. Ordinance 142 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas and 1 abstention. With closing the public hearing at 8:54, I will assign item 143 of 2025 as ordinance 143 of 2025, and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing a change in the district map for property located at 535 North Wind Road, parcel number 44099968, from an A1 agricultural district to an advanced manufacturing district.
Thank you. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 143 of 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Thank you, Mr. Drake. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Mr. Wallensack?
Abstain.
Thank you. Ordinance 143 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas and 1 abstention. Our last public hearing was closed at 8:54 PM, and I will assign item 144 of 2025 as ordinance 144 of 2025, and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing a change in the district map for property located at 4961 Corduroy Road, parcel number 4409967, from an A1 agricultural district to an advanced manufacturing district.
Thank you. Council.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 144 of 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Thank you, Mr. Drake. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Mr. Wallensack?
Abstain.
Thank you. Ordinance 144 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
Mr. President? Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
if I may, considering we've been here for 2 hours, some people may need a comfort break. I'd suggest we recess for maybe 10 minutes and reconvene.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. If there's no objections, we'll take a 10-minute break. And for some of you people, if you would like to leave at this time, please feel free to do that. And we will resume back here in 10 minutes. Yeah, and I, if we could all start making it back to our seats, we'll get started. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got to just leave it on. We still have a few council people that are out of the picture right now. They will be back in a minute or so. Yeah, just leave it. At this time, we are going to start the remainder of our meeting. We need to, I will seek a motion to add items 146, 147, and 148 to this week's agenda.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Pauloff.
so moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. So items 146, 147, and 148 are added. 145 we are not talking about tonight, correct? The administration has pulled it.
That is correct, Mr. President. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. With that being said, the next item on the first item on the agenda for consideration and passage is item number 146 of 2025. That is being presented by Mayor Safarian and our Public Service Director, Paul Roman. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is needed to proceed with the construction of the Navarre Avenue Safety Improvement Project. This is a project the city has been planning for since 2022. Project is located on Navarre Avenue between I-6 Streets Drive and South Coy Road. It includes the construction of a concrete median, resurfacing, as well as U-turn locations, along with new traffic signals at the intersections of Harbor Drive, Kingston Court, and Kroger's. There is a map included in Exhibit A that shows the basic layout of the project. The city has received several grants for this project. We received a $5 million grant from ODOT as a safety grant. We received $600,000 urban paving grant from ODOT as well. And we also received a $592,000 grant from Ohio Public Works Commission for this project. The city received 2 bids, and Hillebrand is the lowest and best bid for the project. Their bid tab is included in Exhibit A. They have done a lot of very successful projects for the city of Oregon. If you're wondering why there was only 2 bids, this type of project is difficult for a lot of, it's not as attractive because if you look at the amount of work, it's almost like a third of it is traffic with the traffic lights, a third of it is concrete with the medians, and then the other third is paving. So it's hard to attract the general contractors for this type of work. But we did get 2 bids, and we are recommending Hillebrand for the work. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Council.
Mr. President,
Mr. Drake.
Mr. Roman, traditionally, there's normally 3 bids?
No, there can be just 1 bid. It's just you publicly advertise your bids, and as long as you get 1 bid, now you can second guess 1 bid as to whether you should do more, but it just depends on the market and the time of year that you're bidding. This time of year is a tough time to bid, but like I just mentioned, you couldn't find many general contractors interested in bidding this. So both contractors are quite capable of doing this. And Geddes actually did the first Navarre Avenue safety project between 280 and Coy. So you had 2 competitive bids for this.
Okay, and I guess just something extra. How far out do you reach for people to bid on? Just you put it on the city's webpage, and if somebody
No, you put this in the Toledo Blade. You have to advertise this in the local newspaper. Yep, local newspaper. That's correct.
Okay, it wouldn't go on the city's.
No, and actually, like ODOT will put out different advertisements as well, but usually it's you have to advertise it in the local newspaper, which is typically the Toledo Blade.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Council, any additional questions on item 146?
Mr. President.
Mr. Horniak.
Mr. Roman, just 2 questions realistically with this. To kind of put it in layman's terms, this realistically completes the safety project that we started coming from 280 that we've taken to Coy Road. This kind of completes that middle section. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
Okay. And do you have a timeline of when you think this project may commence?
It'll take a good year to construct, but it'll start this fall. They'll have to order the traffic lights. They take a little bit longer to get, and what time of year you fall into for paving, the paving may actually occur in spring of next year, but it'll be over the next year.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Roman. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Council, if there isn't any additional questions or concerns I will assign item 146, of 2025 as ordinance 146 of 2025, and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Accepting the bid of Hildebrand and Sons Construction, 5811 Woodville Road, Northwood, Ohio, for furnishing labor, materials, and equipment for the LUC SR 2-21.72 Navarre Safety Improvement, PID 118234 project, authorizing the Mayor, Director of Public Service, and Finance Director to enter into a contract with said contractor and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mrs. Snyder. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Drake.
I move for passage of item 146, 2025 as an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Drake.
Second.
Second by Ms. Pauloff, correct? Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 146 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. The next item on the agenda for consideration and passage is item number 147 of 2025, presented by Mayor Safarian and our Public Service Director, Paul Roman. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is also needed for that same Navarre Avenue Safety Project. This is for construction administration and inspection services. The city is the local public agency, but for this size of project, you do need an outside consultant to assist with inspection and as well as going through all the paperwork for reimbursements. Merit Construction Point was determined to be the most qualified of the 4 firms that submitted a letter of interest. The scope of work and the costs are included in Exhibit A. And again, it's about a year's work. It's really about 33 weeks total, and that's what their costs were based on. So, and again, both this work as well as the construction project, both were included in the 2025 CIP budget as well. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Council.
Mr. President.
Mr. Wallensack.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Roman, have we ever used American Structure Point in the past?
This would be a first time, Mr. President, Mr. Wallensack, this would be the first time for us to use them, but they are very well qualified throughout the state of Ohio. So,
Thank you, Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. Wallensack. Council? Hearing nothing, I will assign item 147 of 2025 as item 147 as ordinance 147 of 2025, and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the Mayor, Finance Director, and Director of Public Service to enter into agreement with American Structure Point Incorporated, 600 Superior Avenue, East Suite, 2401, Cleveland, Ohio, to provide professional construction administration and inspection for the LUC SR 2-21.72 Navarre Safety PID 118234 project in an amount not to exceed $367,851 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council?
Mr. President.
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 147 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wallensack. We have a motion by Mr. Horniak, second by Mr. Wallensack. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay. Thank you. Ordinance 147 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas and 0 nays. And our last item on the agenda for tonight for consideration and passage is item 148 of 2025, presented by Mayor Safarian and Building and Zoning Commissioner Stephen Schrake. Mr. Schrake.
Mr. President, this ordinance would be extending a moratorium on the authority of the City of Oregon Division of Building and Zoning to accept applications for the installation of sweepstake terminal cafes, including skill-based amusement machines, games of chance, and any other gaming device. Typically, we hear them as internet cafes. The previous moratorium had expired in June, and so this is an extension of that moratorium so that we could further study and properly enact ordinances regulating spacing and other requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Schrake. Council? Hearing no questions, I will assign item 148 of 2025 as ordinance 148 of 2025 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
An ordinance extending a moratorium on the authority of the City of Oregon Division of Building and Zoning to accept new applications for the installation of new sweepstake terminal cafes, including skill-based amusement machines, games of chance, or any other gaming devices as authorized by ordinance number 167, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 148 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wallenczak. Thank you, Mr. Wallenczak. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallenczak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yay.
Thank you. Ordinance 148 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas to 0 nays. Having considered all the items on the agenda this evening, we will now move on to the mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. You received correspondence on some hires, and I will start with the hires from the Oregon Parks and Recreation and ask council's concurrence in these 4 new hires. There will be classification 1, step 1, concession, for the concessions. Emily Kinn of 2458 Randall, step 1, 1175. Bailey White, 1109 South Wheeling, step 1, 1175. Berlin, Breland.
Brinley.
Brinley. I appreciate the help. Rogers, 221 Worthington Street, step 1, 1175. Tatum Walsh, 452 Haley Drive, step 1, 1175. Startup date tomorrow, August 26, 2025. Ask council's concurrence in the hiring of these 4 individuals.
Thank you. Council.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I concur with the mayor on the hires of Emily Kinn, Bailey White, Brinley Rogers, and Tatum Walsh to the Recreation Department effective August 26, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second, Mr. Drake. We have, any objections, council? Mayor, council concurs.
Thank you. And next from the Engineering Department, I'd ask council's concurrence on the promotion in pay scale to Miss Kyra Waters from $17.50 to $18 an hour, effective August 19th, 2025. It's classification 4, step 4, and I'd ask council's concurrence in the promotion in pay scale for Kyra Waters.
Council. Mr. Horniak.
Mr. President, I concur with the mayor on that promotion, or I'll say raise in wages as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
And then from Oregon Fire and Rescue, I'd ask council's concurrence in accepting of the resignation of Kendall Linnenkugel as part-time firefighter to EMT from the Oregon Fire Department.
Council.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pauloff.
I move to concur with the mayor's acceptance of the resignation of Kendall Linnenkugel as a part-time firefighter from the fire department.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Salander. We have a motion by Ms. Pauloff, second by Mr. Salander. Any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
And these next 3 are promotions to fire lieutenant in the Oregon Fire and Rescue. And the first we'll go with is Dustin Eiler to be placed at the fire lieutenant pay scale, step 5, hourly rate $38.9838. And effective date will be today. Effective date tomorrow, August 26th, 2025, and I'd ask council's concurrence in the promotion of Dustin Eiler to fire lieutenant.
Thank you, Mayor. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Pauloff?
I move to concur with the mayor's acceptance of the promotion of
Dustin?
Mr. Eiler, Dustin, is it Dustin or Justin? Where is it? Dustin Eiler, there it is. I am so sorry. Dustin Eiler to be promoted to lieutenant within the fire department, effective tomorrow, August 26, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Salander. We have any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
I'll try to do this one a little smoother. And I'd ask council's concurrence in the promotion to fire lieutenant to John Rumstadt with that pay scale, step 6, hourly rate $40.15.69. And the effective startup date will be Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. And I'd ask council's concurrence in the promotion to John Rumstadt. Lieutenant.
The start date is
I did,
August 27th.
27th.
Yep, is that what you said?
That's what I said.
I was reading.
I got that one right.
I was trying to figure out what .1569 would end up in like 5 hours of work.
You go right on with
Yeah.
that.
I'll just give them a dime.
Yeah.
But at any rate, thank you, Mayor, Council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Pauloff.
I move to concur with the mayor's promotion of John Romstadt to lieutenant within the fire department, effective date Wednesday, August 27, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Mr. Salander, correct?
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Salander. Council, any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
Thank you. And lastly, from the fire department, this is a promotion to lieutenant also to Kyle Schilke from step 6, hourly rate $40.15.69. And the effective startup date would be Thursday, August 28th. And I'd ask council's concurrence in that appointment to Mr. Kyle Schilke.
Thank you. Council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Pauloff.
I move to concur with the mayor's promotion of Kyle Schilke to lieutenant within the fire department, effective date Thursday, August 28th, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Salander. Council, any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
And with that and the length of the night, I would end my report, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Major.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real quickly, just a reminder for everybody that, sticking with the fire department, Ms. Angie Romano is retiring, and her retirement party is tomorrow, August 26th, from noon to 3 p.m. At Station 41. So if you have time, please make your way over there and congratulate her on all of her years of service and everything that she's done for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Major. Mrs. Pepora.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Pepora. Mr. Roman.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Mr. Horniak.
No report from my standing committee. I do appreciate everybody's work and efforts tonight and following through with our rezoning piece. I just want to say congratulations to our new lieutenants and to our fire crew and all, and it's nice to see that we're able to promote from within because we have such a strong department. So congratulations to all of you. So with that, I'd close. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Mrs. Pauloff.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, Mr. Mazer and Mr. Horniak took my reports. Thank you so much, and congratulations to the 3 lieutenants that were hired today. Thank you so much for all of your service. We really appreciate you. And don't forget about the luncheon tomorrow for Angie. Thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Mrs. Ackerman, or Mr. Wallenbeck, excuse me.
You go to Ms. Ackerman.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
I have no report this evening.
Thank you. I knew you didn't. Thank you, Mr. Wallenbeck. Mrs. Ackerman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just, from my standing committee, I want to just say that now that we're through with getting those people's homes moved into the advanced manufacturing, I will be following through with oversight intense oversight on any potential development, whether it be a data center or what have you with that wetland there on, in that piece. And not my department, or not my committee, but I do have reservations when I hear people say about the schools getting a lot of money, because I know that Benton, Carroll, Salem, Oak Harbor schools, the money was promised, and then they went to the state, and it was reduced, the amount that they were promised was reduced, the value was 75%. So I'm hoping we seriously put some guardrails in place, because there's too many examples of people saying they're going to do a lot for your community and then finding loopholes. And you guys announce it all the time about what the refineries no longer do that they used to do. That's why we need this additional industry. So I'm asking you to be diligent in making sure that we have sufficient guardrails so that we don't get shorted. I mean, we have a short-term gain and then they fall away with what they commit to. I just want to, say I'm really, really proud of the fact that this city was going in the direction of more heavy industry. They were trying, going with the battery plant, going with whatever they could get. At one point, it was Worthington Steel. I'm really glad that we're going the advanced manufacturing route, even though I have reservations, because Mr. Beasley presented an advanced manufacturing example, like the old Jeep plant, where it was low profile, light manufacturing, and, now we're on the data center road. But I know it's a long way to actually seeing a data center. It bothers me that this is the first time I've heard how many buildings it'd be, because I would call that a campus, a data center campus, not a data center. And so we need to be less vague and be more specific, and then we wouldn't have to have, these demands for transparency on it or information. But I am glad, and I don't know why people didn't just ask about the vote. I mean, I was one of the people that pushed for those people on Wynn Road not to be treated like the people on Lallendorf were, and just have industry put in all around them without an option to escape that. So I'm very grateful that they had a chance to get out at what I hope is a fair price by the time they actually do it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman.
No, I don't need your rebuttal you rebutted everybody. It was like, I was my statement. You've
Thank you, Mrs.
rebutted
Ackerman.
everybody all evening that you didn't like.
Thank you,
what they said.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor.
I just want to respond to what the state can do and change the rules and evaluations. This is not based on evaluations, it's a payment in lieu of taxes. We did seek outside counsel in assisting in preparing some of the language, so we try to safeguard every option that we have to assure that we will get the actual deal that we negotiate. And if the state changes the rules on us, we can't really do anything about that, but we have taken safeguards to try to assure that we do get what we bargained for.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Salander.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing from my standing committee, just a couple quick things. First of all, congratulations to everybody on your promotions. And unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town tomorrow, so I won't be able to be at the retirement, but congratulations, Angie, on that also. On the votes tonight too, I too have been on the steering committee for the strategic master plan for the last a little over a year now. And we have had really good citizen input on the surveys that were first sent out. And we do have that section that we were talking about this evening as being part of that industrial zone. So it just made sense. It just made sense. It just made sense. I'll just leave it at that. It just made sense just to complete that entire area to be the same same zoning, so it was just logical. But anyway, and next on that, I just wanted to say, we had, I don't know if anybody, there was apparently a festival this last weekend. I don't think it was very big, though. I don't think it really was very big and very well attended, but something German, I think. But anyway, it was good. It was fun. I got a chance to get out there, have some really good food and some really good, working with people and, what's that?
Gemütlich.
Yeah, what she said. I have German in my blood, but I don't know what that was. But anyway, so, Dankeschön.
Thank you, Mr. Sallender. Mr. Drake?
Nothing from my committee. Congratulations to the fire that got promoted tonight. And just to backtrack a little bit, I know I talked to Mr. Roman, it was about 2 weeks ago, and he filled me in on nothing secretive. He covered everything over it, and I just want to give a kudos out to Paul. He did a very good job, and the other thing, I'll save the worst for last. Terry, you did a great job with the meeting.
Thank you.
It went a lot smoother than I thought it would, so good job on your part. And I know, Paul, you had said that the money will go to the general fund, and I'm all for the fire having top-notch buildings and equipment, and I've preached it numerous times, and I'll bring it up until the day I'm gone here. Hopefully, some of that money, once it starts floating in the air in here, a lot of it will go towards the police department. I'm trying to get citizens to go on tours to check it out. A lot of people are scared once I tell them what it looks like. And I said, it's not that bad. But hopefully, that's in the works. Other than that, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. I have nothing really from my standing committee, but I did have some people ask from the street department, they would like to propose taking out mop bushes from the front of the municipal building. They don't look nice and are overgrown when trimmed. They look dead. Extreme cut may kill them. They hold mosquitoes. They don't smell very good. Somebody says it smells like cat urine. And we can talk about how we can improve that front area if at all possible.
Mr. President,
Mr. Mayor.
we've already made provisions to take them out.
Oh, good. Then I don't need to
There you go.
scrap that from the minutes. Congratulations to our new lieutenants. And I don't know how to say this, but when we don't have agenda items or items that are on the agenda for the committee of the whole, that is why it was canceled. It wasn't canceled due to anything about the properties, the data center, the GAF, or any other reason. When we don't have items on the agenda, every council president before me, and that will be after me, have cut the, canceled the meeting. So I sort of took a little bit of offense that, like, I was doing it to not be transparent.
We know.
You guys, I'm telling you, I'm the most transparent person that there is. Whether you like it or not, I'm gonna say it, but, it was put out there on Facebook, and, I don't follow Facebook, or I shouldn't say that. I do, but I don't follow the people that talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about and say who they were, but posting things about me, just come and talk to me. I mean, that's all you gotta do. I'll talk to anybody. But just don't put stuff out there, please, that has nothing to do with, when you know why it was canceled.
Mr. President, now that you brought that up, could I please request that if we're going to spend this kind of money, like on the 3 items that we added this evening, those they were not emergencies, and they could have been, the community would have liked to maybe had a chance to look over when we spend almost $500,000. Like, so we add that in all tonight, it doesn't get a reading besides tonight, so the public isn't made aware of it. And I just, if we're gonna say there's nothing to talk about, but then when we show up and we throw high dollar items on here, that's what makes it look bad for us, that the public is not aware of it.
Mrs.
These are not
Ackerman, that's not what it
emergencies.
was about. It was about me canceling so people couldn't come in and talk about the data center property. That's what it was about. And I'm not gonna argue about it. I'm not gonna disclose anything else. I just told you when I came in here on Friday, I was told that we didn't need to, the previous Friday, that we didn't need to have a committee of the whole. I looked at the agenda and I agreed with them. So that's why it was canceled. It had nothing to do with the 3 items being brought up. It was because people wanted to come in here and I know this might not sound popular but I'm gonna tell you it's right. We have had people in here, which I agree they have every right to come in and talk and say what they feel like they need to say. But they've been doing it for 2 months. 1 week off wasn't gonna hurt. And they all had the opportunity to speak at tonight's meeting if they chose to sign in. I gave them ample time. I warned them 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and 5. If you want to come up and speak, please come up here and sign the sheet. There's still more rooms. So with that being said, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
Oh, excuse me.
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Drake.
I missed this.
Thank you.
And Terry, I know this is, I just found this out in the last couple days. I know you're the chairperson of the rec committee. If you could, I ran into some parents at the stores, and I guess, they pay to play, for their uniforms or whatever they get, but I guess the rec department, and I haven't been able to look into it, they're selling like, I don't know if they're raffle tickets or something, going, door to door, selling crap. Most people don't like buying stuff. I know when our kid did it, we just buy them because I hated being harassed by people selling it, and it's hard to say no for
Agreed.
people. So if you could just check and see if there's something,
A
I
re-
don't know the real details.
Okay.
So just look into it. I don't think it's a
Yeah,
charity organization. I believe the city has money for it, and
thank you, Mr. Drake.
we'll see how great they're doing.
Thank you. I need to set a public hearing. I would like to set up, thank you, Mrs. Snyder, for reminding me. I would like to set a public hearing for Monday, September 22nd, 2025 at 7 PM for the application SUE 190-190-25 for a special use in a M1 Light Industrial Zone District for the purpose of constructing a new wireless communication facility for Verizon Wireless. The applicant is James Kopek. North Star Towers for owner Naomi Kilburn. The location is 4400 Bay Shore Road. With that being said, we have no further business before council. I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pauloff.
so moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Any objections?